If you're considering moving to the villages, a lot of times people are concerned about how hurricanes may affect the villages. Of course, the state of Florida gets hit by a lot of hurricanes. Last year was overly active. However, we rarely have a huge impact here in the villages itself. We're such inland. By the time it gets to us, it shows up with high winds and rain, and we had one this past year. They shut everything down, and it showed up, and it barely sprinkled for 10 minutes. So we don't normally get affected by the hurricanes, and we don't get flooding traditionally because the villages starts watering the golf courses and running the sprinklers to empty the ponds and lakes. So rarely do we have any flooding here. In addition to that, we've lost power maybe twice in the last 7-8 years, and when we do lose power, it's really quick. In fact, let me tell you a story about the one time I lost power. Hurricane was coming. They warned everybody to get under cover. This is about 7-8 years ago. And my sister lives in a stucco house, and I lived in a little frame house here in the villages, and we decided it was safer for me to stay there. And that night, power went out late at night. They finally got it back on first thing in the morning, and they were worried to death what happened to my house. And we sat there without TV, internet, cable, air conditioning, and we got in the car and drove to my house, and I had never lost power. It was 2 miles away. We could have been there all night watching TV and keeping up with things in air conditioning. But we do not lose power for very long here, or at all. So, and even as active as last year's season was, we had some back-to-back. That's not normal here. I mean, we did have the weather and a little bit of panic, but traditionally the hurricane's not going to affect us, and they normally don't come in the waves that they did this past year, usually 1 or 2 a year.